Surely one of the most English things of all has got to be roast beef and horseradish sauce. Well, today we're going to show you how to identify horseradish, how to harvest it, how to preserve it, and how to make the sauce. Hello, welcome to English Country Life. Welcome to the garden. My name's Hugh, and today I want to talk to you about making horseradish sauce. I love horseradish sauce. I even love the word that's associated with it. Horseradish sauce is a tracklement, and a tracklement is a kind of condiment, a side dish that's found close to the thing that it accompanies. So you'll generally find horseradish close to fields, and in those fields, with a bit of luck, you'll find some cattle, and that's why it's a tracklement. Now, I want to talk to you today about finding and harvesting horseradish, but a word of warning. Foraging is generally legal in the UK. Get some specific advice on your area and what you're looking for. If you're trying to forage for what are called the 4 F's, and those F's are fruit, flowers, foliage, and fungi. So you can basically harvest the top growth of things. It is generally not legal to uproot wild plants without landowners' consent. So if you're going to go and get horseradish root, ask a friendly farmer first. Generally around here they're really amenable, provided I leave the place tidy, and honestly when I finish you can't even tell I've been there, other than there's a little bit less horseradish. They're honestly very happy for me to do it, and that's what we're going to show you today. But it is a word of warning: you shouldn't go digging holes in other people's lands and uprooting plants without permission. Now, what we're going to cover today is going to be in 3 sections. We're going to do a part on how to identify and harvest your horseradish. We're going to do a part on how to preserve that horseradish root, and then we're going to do a part on turning that preserved horseradish root into horseradish sauce. Let's get started. The first of our 3 processes then is to go and identify and harvest some horseradish. Now, there is no great mystique to foraging. The great thing to do is learn to recognise a plant, but then also to walk around a lot, learn when it's in season and where to find it. And then you can walk up to it with relative ease and say, right, it's horseradish season, I know where the horseradish grows, I'll go and get some. And that really is the art of foraging. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is if you're not sure of your identification, then don't eat it. We live in Lincolnshire, which is a flat sort of fen-like area of the UK, and honestly you can find horseradish growing anywhere. Here I am finding bunches of it on the side of the road. It grows in verges, it grows in dikes, which is what we call our drainage ditches. It's everywhere, and this is what we're looking for. Notice the shape at the edge of the leaf, that almost sort of S-curve sine wave look to it. It's a spear-shaped big leaf, but it's that crinkle edge that is the dead giveaway for horseradish. Now, in order to harvest it, what we need to do is dig away at the base, because what you'll find with horseradish is it's like a long root that occasionally pops up a bunch of leaves. And what the first thing we need to do is find out what direction that root is running in, and then scrape away the soil, trace it along, and expose as much of that root as you can. Now, it's been really dry here, so that's actually helping me. I can almost just move loose dry soil away with my fingers. It's much less fun in the wet. But there you can start to see a biggish sort of 1/2 inch wide finger width tap root emerging, and it just travels along as a sort of runner under the ground. All the top growth will die back in the winter, but it will store energy in that root and come up again in the spring. So I'm following that root along, and as you can see here, I'm getting a good big length of root exposed, and that's what you want. You don't want little fiddly pieces when you're working with horseradish. You want a decent length of root. And you may have noticed there that I just cut that with my trowel tool. I'll explain what tool I'm using a little bit later in the video. And once I've got a nice piece from this area, I'm not going to take all of it. What I am going to do is make sure that I make the ground back to where it was when I started, not leaving big holes for people to fall in. Having gathered our horseradish root, it's going to dry out really quickly, and then it will start to lose some of those wonderful aromatic flavours. So what we need to do is clean it up, process it and preserve it so it's ready for when we need it. To prepare a horseradish, the first thing to do is get rid of any top growth. Just be careful how you dispose of any trimmings or waste with this process, because they do root really, really easily if you put them in the compost. This is the amount I need to make a few jars of sauce. You don't need whole carrier bags full of horseradish. You don't pick more than you absolutely need. First step, give it all a good scrub. We're going to peel it, but getting all that loose dirt off stops the dirt moving with the peeler onto the clean material underneath the skin. Having scrubbed it, salt it. This is what you want. This young parsnip looking stuff that's nice and round. Old bits that are gnarled and woody and a bit chewed don't make for the best sauce. That's what you want, this stuff here. Once we've given it a salt, then what I'm going to do is peel it. And I just use a normal potato peeler. Although I do find the skin being quite tough can clog the peeler from time to time. And I just need to take a moment to unclog it, free the blade up before I carry on. Now, next step is to grate it. Now, the peeling and the grating, I am going to give you a tip that I'm quite serious about. The smell is unbelievably strong. Much stronger than peeling and chopping onions. So honestly, the only way to do this is to do it outdoors. I tend to take a seat, have an audiobook on, do it at a little patio table that's a bit unstable, so I'm sorry if any of this looks a little bit shaky. And I'll do it when there's a wind blowing, so it blows that smell away. This is what we end up with. Looks a bit like grated parmesan, I always think. It'll be coarser if you use a household grater rather than a microplane, but it all works. Don't worry about anything like that. The next step is to activate your horseradish, and we need to turn it into a paste just with water. But keep a measure of how much water you've added, because that becomes important in a minute. Now here's the thing. The longer you leave it, the stronger the horseradish becomes. I find somewhere around 10 minutes gives a lovely strong flavour, but not too hot. Once you've left it long enough, give it a little pinch of salt. That's going to help with the preserving. And the next step is what stops it getting hotter. We add vinegar. I'm using our own cider vinegar here, but you use white wine vinegar, cider vinegar, whatever you like. And you add half as much vinegar as you added water, and that will stabilise it and stop the heat intensifying. I'm going to put a recipe up at the end of the video, so don't worry about trying to make notes of all these quantities. I'm just letting you know as we go through what I'm doing. Once that's all done, I measure it out, I portion it up, fairly small portions, and I'll generally freeze this because this is the stage at which you can preserve this and have it all through the winter. Our third and final process is to turn that prepared horseradish into the wonderful, creamy, spicy horseradish sauce that I love. Now, I need 1/4 cup or 60 mils of prepared horseradish in order to make about a pound jam jar of horseradish sauce. And if that's the amount you want, it makes sense to sort of freeze your prepared horseradish in those sorts of quantities. The basis for our sauce is 250 millilitres of sour cream, and to that I'm going to add 60 millilitres, that's 4 tablespoons of our homemade mayonnaise, although shop bought is absolutely fine. And I'm also going to add 60 millilitres of our prepared horseradish, and frozen and defrosted works absolutely brilliantly. It wants a little bit of sharpness, so 1 tablespoon of our cider vinegar, but again, your vinegar of choice is fine. And I like to add just a few chives. I'm actually using garlic chives because I've got a lot of those. It just gives a little bit of vibrancy. A good grind of salt and of pepper, and then we'll mix the whole lot together. And really, that's it for our homemade horseradish sauce. I'm sorry about the shaky table in these shots. It's an old patio set that we've got. Our ubiquitous jam funnel comes out again to pack this stuff into a jar because it will last, a reasonable amount of time in the fridge. It's not something you make in bulk and store, but if you make it up earlier in the week, it will be fine for your roast beef on Sunday. Pack it into the jar, get out any air gaps with your spoon, and you can see that makes the right amount for a 1 pound jar of this recipe. Now, a pound is quite a lot. You could easily halve this if there's just a couple of you. Someone's bound to ask the question, so I thought I'd very briefly show you the tool I was using. It's a fantastic tool. It's a Japanese tool called a Hori Hori. Imagine it as a cross between a trowel and a knife. It's quite deep, subtly curved, and it's got one serrated, very sharp edge. It's also got a leather sheath to keep it safe. I'll put a link to them in the description below in our Amazon shop. They're a fantastic tool for foraging for anything rooted, also for dealing with deep-rooted perennial weeds. That's how I make horseradish sauce. Now, your prepared horseradish will store in a jar in the fridge for around about a month, or frozen for as long as you want. And honestly, I think it's better to batch it up and freeze it. Once I've made the finished horseradish sauce, I'll keep it in the jar for a week or 10 days in the fridge, but probably not much longer than that. And honestly, when it comes to the horseradish sauce, be a bit adventurous. That's my recipe, but other people use other things. I know people who put mustard in their horseradish sauce, and you know what? They're a member of the same family, so if you want to bulk that heat up and give it a bit of depth of flavour, why not? Put some garlic in, maybe use aioli rather than mayo. The possibilities are endless. If you've enjoyed today's content, can you spare us 5 minutes? Give us a thumbs up down below. If you'd like to see more of our videos, maybe on foraging, maybe on food preserving, or any other aspect of self-reliant living, let us know in the comments what you'd like to see, and we'll try and make those videos for you. If you'd like to see those videos and everything else we produce, just tap on subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the bell next to it. You'll hear every time we upload new content. But for today, thanks for watching. Come back and see us soon. Take care.